Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Imagine this. You're cleaning out your garage on a lazy Saturday afternoon when you stumble across 3 dusty coffee cans you'd forgotten about. Inside, one of them lies over 3 ounces of raw gold, enough to change your life forever. But here's the crushing part. You have absolutely no idea where you found it. This isn't the plot of some treasure hunting movie. This is the true story of Mike Kovacs and the lost Hungarian mine that has haunted treasure hunters for over 60 years. Today we're diving into one of Southern California's most tantalizing unsolved treasure stories. A tale of immigrant dreams, desert fortunes, and a golden opportunity that's still out there waiting for someone bold enough to claim it. In 1966, Mike Kovacs was living what many would consider the American dream. The 42-year-old electronics technician had escaped communist Hungary during the revolution and built a successful life in Los Angeles, running his own radio and TV repair shop. But Mike carried something deeper than the typical immigrant's gratitude. He carried the soul of an explorer. Before arriving in America, Kovacs had spent 8 years prospecting for gold in the remote regions of Brazil. Combined with his 7 years of weekend prospecting in the California desert, he had 15 years of experience reading the Earth's hidden secrets. This wasn't some weekend warrior with a borrowed metal detector. This was a man who approached gold hunting like a scientist, armed with custom-built equipment and a methodical mind that would make any engineer proud. Mike's setup was impressive for the mid-1960s. He'd constructed his own highly sensitive metal detector, acquired a reliable 4-wheel drive vehicle, and even rigged up a radio communication system that allowed him to maintain hourly contact with his wife back at base camp. When Mike Kovacs headed into the desert, he wasn't gambling. He was conducting research. The story that would torment Mike for the rest of his life began in March 1964. He had targeted a particularly promising area near the San Bernardino and Riverside county line, just outside the boundaries of what was then Joshua Tree National Monument. This wasn't randomly chosen territory. Mike had studied geological maps and researched the production records of historical mines in the area. The region was a treasure hunter's paradise of contradictions. Scattered throughout the rugged canyon landscape were the remnants of once profitable operations: the Virginia Dale Mine, the OK Mine, the Iron Age Mine, and an unfortunately named mine, all testament to the gold fever that had gripped the area around the turn of the century. Mike established his base camp at the bottom of a wash, surrounded by giant boulders and the kind of terrain that could swallow a person whole if they weren't careful. The landscape was a maze of intersecting washes, each one looking remarkably similar to the next, carved into dark, reddish soil that hinted at mineral wealth below. On that fateful March day, Mike fired up his trail bike and set out for what would become the most important and frustrating ride of his prospecting career. He spent the entire day methodically working his way across approximately 4 miles of desert terrain, collecting samples from both sides of the main wash. Using his garden trowel, he filled 3 coffee cans with gravel and soil specimens from various locations. But here's where fate played its cruelest hand. Mike had forgotten to bring his roll of tape for labeling the sample locations. In 15 years of prospecting, this systematic man had never made such a fundamental error. Each sample went into the cans unmarked, unidentified, anonymous. Life has a way of interfering with even the most exciting discoveries. Mike returned to Los Angeles with his 3 mystery cans, But work at his electronics shop kept him busy. The samples sat in his garage for 6 months, 6 months during which the exact memory of where each handful of soil had come from gradually faded from his mind. It wasn't until a routine garage cleaning that Mike finally decided to process his desert specimens. He had recently acquired a portable dry washer, making it easy to separate any gold from the gravel. The first 2 cans yielded nothing, just ordinary desert soil and rock. Disappointed but not surprised, he discarded them and moved on to the 3rd can. What happened next would haunt him forever. As the gravel and sand washed away, Mike Kovacs found himself staring at over 3 ounces of placer gold. Not flakes, not dust. Actual, visible pieces of gold that represented more wealth than most people saw in their garages in a lifetime. In today's market, that half-filled coffee can would be worth tens of thousands of dollars, but the real value wasn't in what he held. It was in what it represented. This wasn't just a rich sample. It was evidence of a major deposit. In Mike's 15 years of prospecting across 3 countries, this was the richest concentration he had ever encountered. Somewhere in that 4-mile stretch of desert maze lay a fortune that could be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even $500,000. Mike immediately began planning his return expedition, but the desert had already begun to erase his tracks. Over the next 2 years, he mounted 3 separate full-day searches, each one ending in bitter disappointment. The problem wasn't Mike's dedication or skill. It was the nature of the terrain itself. Imagine trying to find a specific grain of sand on a beach while blindfolded. That 4-mile area contained dozens of intersecting washes, each one branching into smaller tributaries. Every canyon looked remarkably similar, filled with the same giant boulders, the same sharp rocks, the same dark soil. Riding a trail bike at speed, focused on covering ground and collecting samples, Mike simply hadn't created the detailed mental landmarks necessary to retrace his steps. The desert had played the ultimate trick. It had revealed its treasure to a man who couldn't remember where he'd found it. By 1966, Mike Kovacs faced a crushing reality. Despite his expertise, his methodical approach, and his intimate knowledge of prospecting techniques, he was no closer to relocating his lost bonanza than he had been 2 years earlier. It was then that he made a decision that would cement his place in desert legend. He decided to share his secret with the world. Mike's reasoning was both practical and philosophical. As a Hungarian refugee who had found success in America, he believed in helping others improve their circumstances. Gold is no good in the ground, he would tell anyone who listened. He reasoned that while his individual chances of relocating the site were slim, multiple searchers would dramatically increase the odds that someone would eventually strike it rich. When Desert Magazine published his story in 1966, complete with photographs of the gold samples and detailed descriptions of the area, treasure hunters across the Southwest took notice. The magazine's investigators had personally verified Mike's story, visiting the site and confirming both the difficulty of the terrain and the authenticity of the samples. What makes this story particularly compelling for today's treasure hunters is how accessible the search area remains. Unlike many legendary lost mines that require extreme expeditions into remote wilderness, Mike's site can be reached by ordinary passenger cars, though 4-wheel drive is recommended for closer access. Trail bikes remain the optimal exploration tool for navigating the maze of washes. The basic equipment requirements are surprisingly modest: topographic maps, a simple gold pan, plenty of water, and the physical stamina to navigate rough terrain. No specialized mining equipment or enormous investment is necessary, just patience, persistence, and a methodical approach. Modern prospectors have significant advantages over Mike's original attempts. GPS technology eliminates the problem that plagued his search, allowing systematic grid pattern searching and precise location marking. Metal detectors have advanced dramatically, and digital photography can document every sample location in detail. Mike's geological theory provides the most promising search strategy. He believed the placer gold had washed down from smaller tributary washes, meaning the source likely lies upstream from where he found his samples. The key indicators remain the same: dark, reddish soil coloration, surface-level gold concentrations, and proximity to tributary wash intersections. The systematic approach he recommended involves sampling both sides of the main wash, investigating each tributary for source locations, and using any float gold discovered to trace upstream toward the original deposit. What failed as a casual search requiring luck might succeed as a patient, scientific expedition. More than 60 years later, Mike Kovacs' lost Hungarian mine remains unfound, despite countless searchers drawn by his story. The gold samples he displayed in 1966 were real. The location he described was accurate. The geological conditions he outlined remain unchanged. Perhaps the desert has buried the deposit deeper over the decades. Perhaps it lies in a spot that thousands of searchers have walked past without recognizing. Or perhaps it's still there, waiting in plain sight for someone with the right combination of persistence, luck, and timing. If you would like to see a lost gold story by where I grew up, click on the link in the description. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.